Donald John Trump, Sr., born June 14, 1946, is an American businessman, television personality, politician, and the 45th President of the United States. Trump was born and raised in Queens, New York City, and earned an economics degree from the Wharton School of the University of Pennsylvania. He then took charge of the Trump Organization, the real estate and construction firm founded by his paternal grandmother, which he ran for 4.5 decades until 2017. During his real estate and business career, Trump built, renovated, and managed numerous office towers, hotels, casinos, and golf courses. He has lent the use of his name for the branding of various products and properties. He owned the Miss USA and Miss Universe pageants from 1996 to 2015, and he hosted The Apprentice, a reality television series on NBC, from 2004 to 2015. As of 2017, Forbes listed him as the 544th wealthiest person in the world with a net worth of $3.5 billion. Trump first publicly expressed interest in running for political office in 1987. He won 2 Reform Party presidential primaries in 2000, but withdrew his candidacy early on. In June 2015, he launched his campaign for the 2016 presidential election, and quickly emerged as the frontrunner among 17 candidates in the Republican primaries. His final opponents suspended their campaigns in May 2016, and in July he was formally nominated at the Republican National Convention along with Indiana Governor Mike Pence as his running mate. His campaign received unprecedented media coverage and international attention. Many of the statements that he made in interviews, on social media, and at campaign rallies were controversial or false. Trump won the general election on November 8, 2016, in a surprise victory against Democratic opponent Hillary Clinton. He became the oldest and wealthiest person to assume the presidency, the first without prior military or government service, and the 5th elected with less than a plurality of the national popular vote. His political positions have been described by scholars and commentators as populist, protectionist, and nationalist. Personal life. Trump was born on June 14, 1946 at the Jamaica Hospital Medical Center, Queens, New York City. He was the 4th of 5 children born to Frederick Christ Fred Trump and Mary Ann Trump, née McLeod, 1912-2000. His siblings are Mary Ann, born 1937, Fred Jr., Elizabeth, born 1942, and Robert, born 1948. Ancestry. Trump's ancestors originate from the village of Karlstadt, Palatinate, Germany on his father's side, and from the Outer Hebrides Isles of Scotland on his mother's. All his grandparents, and his mother, were born in Europe. His mother's grandfather was also christened Donald. His paternal grandfather, Friedrich Trump, first emigrated to the United States in 1885. Aged 16, became a citizen in 1892, and amassed a fortune operating boomtown restaurants and boarding houses in the Seattle area and the Klondike region of Canada. During the Gold Rush, he died from the flu pandemic of 1918, and Elizabeth incorporated the family real estate business, Elizabeth Trump and Son, which would later become the Trump Organization. Trump's father Fred was born in the Bronx, and worked with his mother since he was 15 as a real estate developer, primarily in the New York boroughs of Queens and Brooklyn. He eventually built and sold thousands of houses, barracks and apartments. Education. Trump grew up in the Jamaica Estates neighborhood of Queens, New York. He attended the Wharton School from kindergarten through 7th grade. By age 13, Trump's rambunctious behavior prompted his parents to enroll him at the New York Military Academy, a boarding school in Cornwall, New York. I was a wise guy, and they wanted to get me in line. Question mark. Trump said, thinking back, it was a very positive influence. Question mark. In August 1964, Trump entered Fordham University in the Bronx. In September 1966, he transferred to the Wharton School of the University of Pennsylvania in Philadelphia, because it offered one of the few real estate studies departments in United States academia at the time. In addition to his father, other role models whom he sought to emulate include the Manhattan developer William Eckendorff. Trump was not drafted during the Vietnam War. Family. Trump has 5 children by 3 marriages, and 8 grandchildren. Trump married his first wife, Czech model Ivana Zelníčková, in 1977 at the Marble Collegiate Church in Manhattan. The ceremony was performed by Reverend Norman Vincent Peale. In 1993, Maples gave birth to their daughter Tiffany. Following his second divorce, Trump entered a steady relationship with Slovene model Melania Knauss. They were married in 2005 at Bethesda by the Sea Episcopal Church on the island of Palm Beach, Florida. A reception followed at Trump's Mar-a-Lago estate, attended by Bill and Hillary Clinton among other celebrities. Melania Trump is now the First Lady of the United States. Upon acceding to the presidency, Trump delegated the management of his real estate business to his 2 adult sons, Eric and Don Jr. Religion. The Trump family were originally Lutherans in Germany. After marrying his first wife Ivana in 1977 at Marble Collegiate Church, he attended that church until 2013. Trump refers to his ghost-written book The Art of the Deal, a bestseller following publication in 1987, as my second favorite book of all time. After the Bible, nothing beats the Bible. Quote. Outside of his church affiliations, Trump has relationships with a number of Christian spiritual leaders, including Florida pastor Paula White, who has been described as his closest spiritual confidant. Health. A 2016 medical report issued by his doctor, Harold Bornstein, M.D., showed that Trump's blood pressure, liver and thyroid function were in normal ranges. Wealth. Trump has said that he began his career with a small loan of $1 million from his father, which isn't very much compared to what I've built, and paid back that loan with interest. When he announced his candidacy on June 16, 2015, Trump released a 1-page financial summary that stated a net worth of $8,737,540,000. After Trump made controversial remarks about illegal immigrants in 2015, he lost business contracts with NBC Universal, Univision, Macy's, Serta, PVH Corporation, and Perfumania, which Forbes estimated negatively impacted his net worth by $125 million. In their 2017 annual billionaires rankings, Forbes estimated Trump's net worth at $3.5 billion. Personal taxes. According to Trump's leaked 1995 federal tax returns, he claimed a loss of $916 million. Real estate career. While a student at the University of Pennsylvania, Trump began his real estate career at his father's company. After being promoted to president of the company in the early 1970s, while his father became chairman of the board, he renamed it to the Trump Organization. Early Manhattan developments. In 1978, Trump consummated his first major real estate deal in Manhattan, purchasing a half-share in the decrepit Commodore Hotel, largely funded by a $70 million construction loan jointly guaranteed by Fred Trump and the Hyatt hotel chain. After remodeling, the hotel reopened as the Grand Hyatt Hotel, located next to Grand Central Terminal. Also in 1978, Trump finished negotiations to develop Trump Tower, a 58-story, 202-meter skyscraper in Midtown Manhattan, for which the New York Times attributed his persistence and skills as a negotiator. Repairs on the Wollman Rink, originally opened in 1949 in Central Park, were started in 1980 by a general contractor unconnected to Trump. Despite an expected 2-year construction schedule, the repairs were not completed by 1986. Trump took over the project, completed it in 3 months for $750,000, less than the initial budget of $1.95 million, and operated the rink for 1 year with all profits going to charity in exchange for the rink's concession rights. Trump acquired the Plaza Hotel in Manhattan in 1988 for $400 million, and asked his then-wife Ivana to manage its operation and renovation. Palm Beach Estate. Trump acquired the historic Mar-a-Lago estate in Palm Beach, Florida, in 1985 for $5 million, plus $3 million for the home's furnishings. It was built from 1924 to 1927 by heiress and socialite Marjorie Merriweather Post, who envisioned the house as a future winter retreat for American presidents. In addition to using the home for this purpose, Trump also turned it into a private club with membership fees of $150. At about the same time, he acquired a condominium complex in Palm Beach with Lee Iacocca that became Trump Plaza of the Palm Beach's Atlantic City Casinos. Clara's at Trump Plaza opened in Atlantic City, New Jersey in 1984. The hotel casino was built by Trump with financing by Holiday Corporation. Later in 1988, Trump acquired the Taj Mahal Casino in Atlantic City in a transaction with Merv Griffin and Resorts International. Banks and bondholders, facing potential losses of hundreds of millions of dollars, opted to restructure the debt. The Taj Mahal emerged from bankruptcy on October 5, 1991, with Trump ceding 50% ownership in the casino to the bondholders in exchange for lowered interest rates and more time to pay off the debt. The Taj Mahal was repurchased in 1996 and consolidated, along with Trump Plaza and Trump Castle, into Trump Hotels and Casino Resorts, THCR, which filed for bankruptcy in 2004 with $1.8 billion in debt, filing again for bankruptcy 5 years later with $50 million in assets and $500 million in debt. The restructuring ultimately left Trump with 10% ownership in the Trump Taj Mahal and other Trump casino properties. During the 1990s, Trump's casino ventures faced competition from the Native American-owned Foxwoods Casino in Connecticut. In 1993, Trump made controversial comments in his testimony to a congressional committee, famously stating that the casino owners did not look like real Indians. Legal affairs. As of 2016, Trump and his businesses have been involved in more than 500 state and federal legal actions. Trump or one of his companies was the plaintiff in 900 cases and the defendant in 450. As plaintiff, more than half have been against gamblers at his casinos who had failed to pay off their debts. As a defendant, the most common type involved personal injury cases at his hotels. In cases where there was a clear resolution, Trump won 451 times and lost 38. Business bankruptcies. Trump has never filed for personal bankruptcy, but his hotel and casino businesses have been declared bankrupt 6 times between 1991 and 2009 in order to renegotiate debt with banks and owners of stock and bonds. The 6 bankruptcies were the result of over-leveraged hotel and casino businesses in Atlantic City and New York. Trump Taj Mahal, Trump Plaza Hotel and Casino, Plaza Hotel, Trump Castle Hotel and Casino, Trump Hotels and Casino Resorts, and Trump Entertainment Resorts. A 2016 analysis of Trump's business career by The Economist concluded that his performance more buildings in New York and worldwide. In 1996, Trump acquired a vacant 70-story skyscraper on Wall Street, the former Bank of Manhattan Trust building, which had briefly been the tallest building in the world when it was completed in 1930. After an extensive renovation, the high-rise was renamed the Trump Building at 40 Wall Street. In 2001, Trump completed Trump World Tower, a 72-story residential tower across from the United Nations headquarters. Trump acquired the former Hotel Delmonico in Manhattan in 2002. It was reopened with 35 stories of luxury condominiums in 2004 as the Trump Park Avenue. Most recently, the Trump Organization has expanded its footprint beyond the United States, with the co-development and management of hotel towers in Chicago, Honolulu, Las Vegas, New York City, Washington, D.C., Panama City, Rio de Janeiro, Toronto, and Vancouver. Ties to Russia. Trump has pursued business deals in Russia since 1987, although his real estate projects there never materialized. In 1996, Trump filed trademark applications for potential Russian real estate development deals. Golf courses. The Trump Organization operates many golf courses and resorts in the United States and around the world. According to Golfweek, Trump owns or manages about 18 golf courses. In 2006, Trump bought the mini estate in Balmody, Aberdeenshire, Scotland, and created a golf resort against the wishes of some local residents. In April 2014, Trump purchased the Turnberry Hotel and Golf Resort in Ayrshire, Scotland, which hosted the Open Championship 4 times between 1977 and 2009. Business career beyond real estate. After Trump took charge of the family real estate firm in 1971, and renamed it the Trump Organization, he not only greatly expanded its real estate operations, but also ventured into numerous other business activities. The company eventually became the umbrella organization for several hundred individual business ventures and partnerships. When Trump was elected president in November 2016, the question arose how he would avoid conflicts of interest with his work in the White House and his business activities. At a press conference on January 10, 2017, Trump said he and his daughter Ivanka would resign all roles with the Trump Organization, while his 2 oldest sons, Don Jr. and Eric, would run the business, together with Chief Financial Officer Ellen Weisselberg. Trump retains his financial stake in the business. Sports events. In September 1983, Trump purchased the New Jersey Generals, an American football team that played in the United States Football League, from oil magnate J. Walter Duncan. The USFL played its first 3 seasons during the spring and summer, but Trump convinced the majority of the owners of other USFL teams to move the USFL's 1986 schedule to the fall. He argued that the new schedule would coincide with the National Football League and would eventually force a merger with the NFL, thereby significantly increasing their investment. After the 1985 season, the Generals merged with the Houston Gamblers, but the organization experienced continuous financial difficulties. The USFL was down to just 7 active franchises from a high of 18 and was soon forced to fold, despite winning an antitrust lawsuit against the NFL. Trump remained involved with other sports after the Generals folded, operating golf courses in several countries. In 1989 and 1990, Trump lent his name to the Tour de Trump cycling stage race, which was an attempt to create an American equivalent of European races such as the Tour de France or the Giro d'Italia. The inaugural race was controversial. and Trump withdrew his sponsorship after the second tour de Trump in 1990, because his other business ventures were experiencing financial woes. The race continued for several more years as the Tour DuPont. Trump submitted a stalking horse bid on the Buffalo Bills when it came up for sale following Ralph Wilson's death in 2014. He was ultimately outbid, as he expected, and Kim and Terrence Pegula won the auction. Beauty pageants. From 1996 until 2015. In 2015, NBC and Univision both ended their business relationships with the Miss Universe organization, after Trump's controversial 2015 presidential campaign remarks about Mexican illegal immigrants. On September 11, 2015, Trump announced that he had become the sole owner of the Miss Universe organization by purchasing NBC's stake. Model management. In 1999, Trump founded a modeling company, Trump Model Management, which operates in the Soho neighborhood of Lower Manhattan. Trump University. Trump University LLC was an American for-profit education company that ran a real estate training program from 2005 until at least 2010. In 2013, the state of New York filed a $40 million civil suit alleging that Trump University made false claims and defrauded consumers. The Lowe v. Trump case was set for trial on November 28, 2016 in San Diego. Branding and licensing. Trump has marketed his name on a large number of building projects that are owned and operated by other people and companies, as well as licensing his name for various commercial products and services. In doing so, he achieved mixed success for himself, his partners, and investors in the projects. Because developers pay Trump to market their properties and to be the public face for their projects, some buildings that display his name are not owned or operated by him. According to Forbes, this portion of Trump's empire, actually run by his children, is by far his most valuable, having a $562 million valuation, with 33 licensing projects under development including 7 Trump International Hotel and Tower condo hotels. Properties to which Trump has licensed his name and image include 2 in Florida that have gone into foreclosure. Foundation. The Donald J. Trump Foundation is a U.S.-based private foundation. The foundation's tax returns show that it has given to healthcare and sports-related charities, as well as conservative groups. In 2016, investigations by The Washington Post uncovered several potential legal and ethical violations conducted by the charity, including alleged self-dealing and possible tax evasion. Media career. Further information. Donald Trump in popular culture. Filmography of Donald Trump, and Donald Trump in music. Trump has twice been nominated for an Emmy Award and has made cameo appearances in 12 films and 14 television series. The Apprentice. Trump posing with former NBA basketball player Dennis Rodman during Rodman's 2009 participation on Celebrity Apprentice. In 2003, Trump became the executive producer and host of the NBC reality show The Apprentice, in which a group of competitors battled for a high-level management job in one of Trump's commercial enterprises. Contestants were successively fired and eliminated from the game. For the first year of the show, Trump earned $50,000 per episode, roughly $700,000 for the first season. But following the show's initial success, he was paid $1 million per episode. Along with British TV producer Mark Burnett, Trump was hired as host of the Celebrity Apprentice, in which celebrities compete to win money for their charities. While Trump and Burnett co-produced the show, Trump stayed in the forefront, deciding winners and firing losers. International versions of the Apprentice franchise were co-produced by Burnett and Trump. On February 16, 2015, NBC announced that they would be renewing The Apprentice for a 15th season. After Trump's election campaign and presidential win led to his departure from the program, actor and former California Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger replaced Trump as host for the 15th season. Professional wrestling. Trump is a World Wrestling Entertainment fan and a friend of WWE Chairman Vince McMahon. In 1988-89, Trump hosted WrestleMania IV&V at Boardwalk Hall, dubbed Trump Plaza, for storyline purposes, and has been an active participant in several of the shows. Trump appeared at WrestleMania 23 in a match called The Battle of the Billionaires. On June 15, 2009, McMahon announced as part of a storyline on Monday Night Raw that he had sold the show to Trump. In 2013, Trump was inducted into the celebrity wing of the WWE Hall of Fame at Madison Square Garden for his contributions to the promotion. He made his 6th WrestleMania appearance the following night at WrestleMania 29. Political career up to 2015. Early involvement in politics. Trump's 1987 advertisement in a December edition of the Boston Globe, criticizing U.S. defense policy. Trump first vaguely expressed interest in running for office in 1987, when he spent almost $100,000 to place full-page advertisements in several newspapers. In his view at that time, America should stop paying to defend countries that can afford to defend themselves. Trump considered the idea of running for president in 1988, 2004, and 2012, and for governor of New York in 2006 and 2014, but did not enter those respective races. Trump publicly speculated about seeking the 2012 Republican presidential nomination, and a Wall Street Journal, NBC News poll released in March 2011 found Trump leading among potential contenders. He was 1 point ahead of former Massachusetts Governor Mitt Romney. Trump played a leading role in further conspiracy theories that had been circulating since President Obama's 2008 presidential campaign. Trump made his first speaking appearance at the Conservative Political Action Conference, CPAC, in February 2011. His appearance at CPAC was organized by Go Proud, an LGBT conservative organization, in conjunction with Go Proud supporter Roger Stone, who was close with Trump. Go Proud pushed for a write-in campaign for Trump at CPAC's presidential straw poll. The 2011 CPAC speech Trump gave is credited for helping kickstart his political career within the Republican Party. In the 2012 Republican primaries, Trump generally had polled at or below 17% among the crowded field of possible candidates. In 2013, Trump was a featured speaker at the Conservative Political Action Conference, CPAC. Additionally, Trump spent over $1 million in 2013 to research a possible run for President of the United States. 2000 presidential campaign. In 1999, Trump filed an exploratory committee to seek the presidential nomination of the Reform Party in 2000. Political affiliations. Trump meets with President Ronald Reagan at a 1987 White House reception, 30 years before taking office. Trump's political party affiliation has changed numerous times over the years. Trump was a Democrat prior to 1987. In 1999, Trump switched to the Reform Party and ran a presidential exploratory campaign for its nomination. After his run, Trump left the party in 2001, ostensibly due to the involvement of David Duke, Pat Buchanan, and Lenora Fulani. From 2001 to 2008, Trump identified as a Democrat, but in 2008, he endorsed Republican John McCain for president. In 2009, he officially changed his party registration to Republican. Trump has made contributions to campaigns of both Republican Party and Democratic Party candidates, with the top 10 recipients of his political contributions being 6 Democrats and 4 Republicans. According to a New York State report, Trump circumvented corporate and personal campaign donation limits in the 1980s, although no laws were broken, by donating money to candidates from 18 different business subsidiaries, rather than donating primarily in his own name. 2016 presidential campaign. On June 16, 2015, Trump announced his candidacy for President of the United States at Trump Tower in Manhattan. In the speech, Trump drew attention to domestic issues such as illegal immigration, offshoring of American jobs, the U.S. national debt, and Islamic terrorism, which all remained large priorities during the campaign. He also announced his campaign slogan, "Make America Great Again." In his campaign, Trump said that he disdained political correctness. He also stated that the media had intentionally misinterpreted his words, and he made other claims of adverse media bias. Republican leaders such as House Speaker Paul Ryan were hesitant to support him during his early quest for the presidency. They doubted his chances of winning the general election and feared that he could harm the image of the Republican Party. The alt-right movement coalesced around Trump's candidacy. During the campaign, Trump was accused of pandering to white nationalists. Some rallies during the primary season were accompanied by protests or violence, including attacks on protesters inside the rallies, and clashes between protesters and Trump supporters outside the venues. Fact-checking organizations have denounced Trump for making a record number of false statements compared to other candidates. State primaries. Trump entered a field of 16 candidates who were vying for the 2016 Republican nomination. This was the largest presidential field in American history. By early 2016, the race had mostly centered on Trump and U.S. Senator Ted Cruz. General election campaign. After becoming the presumptive Republican nominee, Trump's focus shifted to the general election, urging remaining primary voters to save. Clinton had established a significant lead in national polls over Trump throughout most of 2016. In early July, Clinton's lead narrowed in national polling averages following the FBI's reopening of its investigation into her ongoing email controversy. On July 15, 2016, Trump announced his selection of Indiana Governor Mike Pence as his running mate. 2 days later, Trump officially accepted the nomination in a 76-minute speech inspired by Richard Nixon's 1968 acceptance speech. In late July, Trump came close to Clinton in national polls following a 3 to 4 percentage point convention bounce, in line with the average bounce in conventions since 2004, although it was toward the small side by historical standards. Discussion of tax returns. Trump has declined to publicly release any of his full tax returns. Trump said that his tax returns are being audited and his lawyers advise against release. On October 1, 2016, The New York Times obtained 3 pages of Trump's 1995 tax return. A reporter claimed that the documents were received in her Times mailbox. Each of the 3 pages is 1 page from Trump's state filings in Connecticut, New York, and New Jersey. They show that, using allowed deductions for losses, Trump claimed a loss of $916 million on his 1995 federal tax returns. During the second presidential debate, Trump acknowledged using the deduction, but declined to provide details such as the specific years it was applied. Presidential debates. On September 26, 2016, Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton faced off in the first presidential debate at Hofstra University in Hempstead, New York. Lester Holt, an anchor with NBC News, was the moderator. Political positions. Trump's campaign platform emphasized renegotiating U.S.-China relations and free trade agreements such as NAFTA and the Trans-Pacific Partnership, strongly enforcing immigration laws, and building a new wall along the U.S.-Mexico border. His other campaign positions included pursuing energy independence while opposing climate change regulations such as the Clean Power Plan and the Paris Agreement, modernizing and expediting services for veterans, repealing and replacing the Affordable Care Act, abolishing Common Core education standards, investing in infrastructure, simplifying the tax code while reducing taxes for all economic classes, and imposing tariffs on imports by companies that offshore jobs. During the campaign, he also advocated a largely non-interventionist approach to foreign policy while increasing military spending, extreme vetting of immigrants from Muslim-majority countries to preempt domestic Islamic terrorism, and aggressive military action against Islamic State of Iraq and the Levant. ISIL, also known as ISIS or IS. Media have described Trump's political positions as populist. Trump has supported or leaned toward varying political positions over time. Foreign interference in election and FBI investigation. There has been intensive media scrutiny of Trump's relationship to Russia. Sexual misconduct allegations. 2 days before the second presidential debate, a 2005 recording surfaced, made on a studio bus while preparing to film an episode of Access Hollywood. On the tape, Trump is heard bragging to the show's then co-host Billy Bush about forcibly kissing and groping women. Trump's language on the tape was described by the media as vulgar, sexist, and descriptive of sexual assault. The incident prompted him to make his first public apology during the campaign. Trump and his campaign have denied all of the sexual misconducting accusations, which Trump has called false smears, and alleged a conspiracy against him. Election to the presidency. On Election Day, November 8, 2016, Trump received 306 electoral votes to Clinton's 232 votes. The counts were later adjusted to 304 and 227 respectively, after defections on both sides, formalizing Trump's selection to the presidency. Trump received a smaller share of the popular vote than Clinton, making him the fifth person to be elected president after losing the popular vote. Records on this matter date from the year 1824. Trump's victory was considered a stunning political upset, as polls consistently showed Hillary Clinton leading nationwide and in most battleground states. While Trump's support had been underestimated throughout his campaign, Trump won the perennial swing states of Florida, Iowa and Ohio, and flipped Clinton's blue wall states of Michigan, Pennsylvania and Wisconsin, which had been Democratic strongholds since the 1990s. Trump's victory marked the return of a Republican White House combined with control both chambers of Congress, as was the case during parts of George W. Bush's presidency from 2003 to 2007. Trump became the first president without prior governmental or military experience. Pre- and post-victory protests. Trump's victory sparked protests across the United States. Democrats, in alignment with other Trump opponents, took to the streets to amplify their opposition to Trump's views and denounce his inflammatory statements. They argued that Clinton's popular vote victory meant Trump was not actually the democratically elected president and should be considered illegitimate. On the Saturday following Trump's inauguration, there were massive demonstrations protesting Trump in the United States and worldwide, with approximately 600,000 taking place in women's marches worldwide. Presidency transition. President Obama and President-elect Trump meet in the Oval Office on November 10, 2016, 2 days after the election. On November 10, President-elect Trump had his first-ever meeting with President Obama to discuss plans for a peaceful transition of power. The New York Times stated that it was an extraordinary show of cordiality and respect between two men who have been political enemies and are stylistic opposites. Quote, White House appointments. Trump's transition team was led by Chris Christie until November 11, 2016, when Vice President-elect Mike Pence took over. Cabinet-level nominations. He has nominated Senator Jeff Sessions as Attorney General. Despite being nominated promptly during the transition period, most cabinet members were unable to take office on Inauguration Day because of delays in the formal confirmation process. By February 8, 2017, President Trump had fewer cabinet nominees confirmed than any prior president 2 weeks into their mandate, except George Washington. Pre-inauguration events. On November 22, Trump outlined his plan for his first 100 days in office in a video posted on YouTube. The plan included the United States' withdrawal from the Trans-Pacific Partnership and asking the Department of Defense to develop a plan to protect the U.S. from cyber attack. On December 7, Time named Trump as its Person of the Year, based on intelligence reports issued from October 2016 to January 2017. The Obama administration accused the Russian government of trying to influence the U.S. presidential election in favor of Trump, notably by supplying the DNC emails to WikiLeaks for publication, have denied the allegations. In January 2017, Trump was briefed on a private intelligence dossier containing potentially compromising personal and financial information about his activities in Russia. First 100 days. Trump's inauguration as the 45th President of the United States was held on Friday, January 20, 2017. In his first week as president, Trump signed 6 executive orders. His first order as president stood to minimize the economic burden of the Affordable Care Act, Obamacare. That same week, Trump withdrew the United States from the Trans-Pacific Partnership, reinstated the Mexico City policy, reopened the Keystone XL and Dakota Access Pipeline construction projects and launched the process to build a new Mexico border wall and reinforce border security. Immigration order. Trump signing Executive Order 13,769 at the Pentagon as the Vice President and Secretary of Defense. Look on. On January 27, President Trump signed an executive order that suspended admission of refugees for 120 days and denied entry to citizens of Iraq, Iran, Libya, Somalia, Sudan, Syria, and Yemen for 90 days, citing security concerns about terrorism. The following day, thousands of protesters gathered at airports and other locations throughout the United States to protest the signing of the order and detainment of the foreign nationals. On March 6, 2016, Trump issued a revised executive order that, among other differences with the original order, excluded Iraq visa holders and permanent residents from the temporary suspension and did not differentiate Syrian refugees from refugees from other countries. Supreme Court nomination. On January 31, Trump nominated U.S. Appeals Court Judge Neil Gorsuch to fill the vacancy left on the Supreme Court by the death of Justice Antonin Scalia. Domestic policy. Energy and climate. Trump's energy policy advocates domestic industrial support for both fossil and renewable energy sources in order to curb reliance on Middle Eastern oil and possibly turn the U.S. into a net energy exporter. Trump does not accept the scientific consensus on climate change. Immigration. Trump speaking with Vice President Mike Pence and Secretary of Homeland Security John F. Kelly on January 25, 2017. Trump's immigration policies were intensely discussed during the campaign. Trump vowed to build a more substantial wall on the Mexico-United States border to keep out illegal immigrants, a wall which Trump promised Mexico would pay for. Following the November 2015 Paris attacks, Trump made a controversial proposal to completely ban Muslim non-citizens from entering the United States until stronger vetting systems could be implemented. In late January 2017, Trump issued an executive order banning the admission of immigrants from 7 predominantly Muslim countries. Social issues. Trump is conservative, describes himself as pro-life and generally opposes abortion. Exceptions are made in cases of rape, incest, and circumstances endangering the health of the mother. Trump supports a broad interpretation of the Second Amendment and says he is opposed to gun control in general. Health care. In 1999, Trump told Larry King Live that, "I believe in universal health care." However, Trump has repeatedly vowed to repeal and replace Obamacare. Trump aims to streamline the Department of Veterans Affairs, getting rid of backlogs and wait lists, and upgrading relevant facilities. Education. Trump has stated his support for school choice and local control for primary and secondary schools. Economy and trade. Trump's campaign tax plan called for leveling the corporate tax rate to 15%, eliminating various business loopholes and deductions. Trump identifies as a free trader, but says that trade must be reasonably fair. Government size and deregulation. Trump's early policies have favored far-reaching deregulation and a smaller federal government. He became the first president in 16 years to sign a Congressional Review Act disapproval resolution. The law had been used only once before. On January 23, 2017, Trump ordered a temporary government-wide hiring freeze. A week later, Trump signed Executive Order 13,771, directing administrative agencies to repeal 2 existing regulations for every new regulation they issue. On February 24, 2017, Trump ordered the agencies to create task forces to determine which regulations are deemed burdensome to the U.S. economy. Foreign policy. Trump has been described as non-interventionist. In order to confront the Islamic State of Iraq and Syria, ISIS, Trump in 2015 called for seizing the oil in ISIS-occupied areas, using U.S. air power and ground troops. Trump has considered recognizing Crimea as Russian territory and lifting sanctions on Russia in the past. Indications of 2020 presidential campaign. Trump signaled his intent to run for his second term by filing with the FEC within hours of assuming the presidency. Electoral history. Awards, honors, and distinctions. Trump receiving the 2015 Marine Corps Law Enforcement Foundation's annual Commandant's Leadership Award in recognition of his contributions to American military education programs. The Jewish National Fund's Tree of Life Award for outstanding contributions to Israel-United States relations. The Ellis Island Medal of Honor in celebration of patriotism, tolerance, brotherhood and diversity. Street in Kalispell, Montana named Trump Drive. Montana real estate developer Hubert Turner named the streets on his Empire Estates properties after famous NYC business moguls. Trump was awarded an honorary doctorate of business administration by Scotland's Robert Gordon University in 2010. Marine Corps Law Enforcement Foundation Commandant's Leadership Award.